What's up, my peeps? Roney P is back with another one. Here on today's video, it's actually going to be a pretty fun one, cool one, because we're going to be talking about the outskirts of Raleigh. I know a lot of times I talk about Raleigh in itself, but we're going to talk about the cities and the towns that surround it. Now, you don't want to miss this one because there could be hidden gems that you had no idea that those cities or even towns existed. What's up, everybody? It's Roney Polynice here. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. And while I have your attention, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell so you are notified every time I do one of these videos. Nonetheless, help me out and let's share this message. Let's share the word, the good word of what's going on in Raleigh, North Carolina, so we are receiving and getting to this audience that we need to reach out to so we can go ahead and build out this community here, right? Now, just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you, I am a licensed realtor, and I would love nothing more but the opportunity to be able to assist you with any of your real estate needs. So that number that's popping up right there, make sure to give me a call, text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember, I got your back in this market. So before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know that this list is not in any particular order. We're just going to run through it and identify the areas that should be talked about, that you guys all should know really about. And the things that I really want to highlight on this video here today is things to do recreational, or maybe for yourself, with the family, with the friends, whoever it is that's going to be tagging along with you on that specific event. You know, how safe is it in that area? The schools, you know, talk about the real estate, of course. You know, we really want to discuss and talk about the community and stuff so you can have a good idea what that community is all about. And then you can have an understanding. Is that community a good fit for you or not? Now, the very first one we're going to tackle today is Morrisville, the heart of the triangle. Now, I don't know where that name came from, but I can understand it from different aspects and different spectrums of how you look at it, because if you look at the map in itself, you will actually see that Morrisville is actually in the middle of it all. And when I mean the middle of it all, the middle of the triangle being Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and Durham, as you can see there. But not only that, you'll have a ton of people who actually care for you, who actually wave to you when you're walking your kids, or when you're walking your dog or walking with your kids. You know, you'll have things like that of that nature happening within the area in itself. Now, as much as I mentioned the population density in terms of the type of people that are there, I mean, in terms of, you know, their hearts, you'll definitely have a large culture diversity there that you can go ahead and take advantage of as well, which then allows you to take advantage of the food, because a lot of restaurants are there. Now, I'm not a big foodie, as I mentioned before, so you guys are going to want to go ahead and check out what type of foods are there. I hear there's culture different, all sorts of different type of cultures, so I don't think you'll be lacking on that end. I think the one end that you're probably lacking on, there isn't really a downtown location. So Morrisville is still building. It was actually once an area where people just went there to work. Now it's where people work, live, play, all that good stuff. So that's something to consider. If you need to be close to the Morrisville RTP, the airport of that nature, Morrisville is probably one of those places you might want to consider, simply because you don't have the commute time is just relatively short. But not only is the commute time short, you'll still have, of course, your parks, festivals go on all around North Carolina, especially anywhere around Raleigh. So you're not going to lack that, I don't think, in any sort of suburb that you're in. And if you are in a suburb that they don't have it, you'll probably be within 30 minutes to Raleigh, so you'll be just fine on that aspect. But of course, again, lakes, you'll have your restaurants, you'll have festivals that you can just take advantage of and enjoy it. Now, if it hasn't clicked yet, of course, I mentioned a lot of things that are going on in Morrisville, a lot of corporations going there into that little RTP area. So you can only anticipate what the real estate market is going to look like there. And yes, you will be getting a bang for your buck depending on how you look at things. In my personal opinion, location is always going to be important, because that's one of those things you can't take a house and just replace it, you know. So if the location is good, of course, the real estate is always going to be a prime, especially in a prime location. So expect to, look at things, a bang of your buck, and kind of look at things by, wow, maybe that is a price that you can or cannot afford. But I will say those prices will probably not be average in terms of what you're anticipating or what you're expecting. Now, if you look at it and like, oh man, this is nothing, then that means you're probably coming from up north, and I know you got it. Now, this one I'm going to talk about now should not come as any surprise. It's Cary. So the reason why I said it should not come as any surprise, because if you watched enough of my videos, you will know already Cary is one of the top tier prime areas that many people move to, especially those individuals moving from New York. I know I hear a lot of people that are there move from New York or up north, and I even hear a lot of Californians move out into the Cary area as well. So you can only anticipate that population is very dense. You just have a lot of different people that move from many different areas in the states to that one specific location, because it is one of the largest suburbs that surround the Raleigh area. I mean, can you fault anybody? There's a lot to do. You have your restaurants, you have your culture centers, you have your artsy centers and things of that nature that you can actually do. Of course, shopping, you can't forget Fenton is there in that area as well. So you can almost put together, what this area is going to provide to you. And you can also put together and put to pieces, what are kind of the things that you can do in this area. You'll find a lot of people say there's no better area than Cary. And that is all based off of their living. So make sure that if somebody does say that, make sure you are you are completely aware of the type of lifestyle that they like to live. I will say Cary is, it's open for everyone. Definitely there's a lot to do, whether it's for yourself, or whether you're single, whether you have a family, whether it's just you and your husband, or whoever the case may be. It's just a place where you can go ahead and have a lot of parks that you can go to. There is a lot of lakes. So you can kind of put things in together, and some may say it's a no-brainer because, again, you are relatively close to Raleigh. I mean, if you look at that commute time, it's relatively close. And you may be like, oh, man, that's too long. Trust me, it's closer than you think. So that's just something that you could take in consideration. But not only that, of course, I mentioned shopping. So now you're probably thinking, well, what kind of shopping is there? You'll definitely have your Publix, Wegmans, Whole Foods. You'll have Food Line. Even if you like going to the gym, you have your Planet Fitness in the area. So you can have all these type of things to do. Again, this just did not come as a surprise to me, seeing that Cary is on this list as one of the top suburbs to live in. And this is why you reach out, guys. Give me a call, shoot me a text, email, and share with me a few things that is important to you in terms of your relocation and what you need to have around you. And by me understanding the infrastructure, understanding the city, understanding what's around, I'll be able to pinpoint and guide us exactly where we should be looking, so we are not wasting time. I know this is a really tough situation for many to relocate from one state to another, and my goal is to make it as easy as possible. So make sure you are giving me a call, text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. I'll be more than happy to assist you and make sure we can find that place that you can call your home. This one on the list, I've talked about I haven't talked about it a lot. So when I saw this pop up on the list, and I was like, I don't know if I should include this, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll include it just because I haven't done enough talking about it. But that's Chapel Hill. Now, Chapel Hill is a suburb that's located, let's say, north of Raleigh, about 30 minutes from there. Now, this is, maybe you consider this a college town. I don't really do, but of course, it's home of UNC. So yes, a lot of individuals, a lot of younger students are going to be there. So don't be afraid. Don't be, oh my gosh, this is too many young individuals. It's UNC is there. So you got to expect it on that end. But maybe you expecting and you seeing the college scene will help you understand that because there's a huge college scene, what else is there going to be of? It's going to be huge on sports. Basketball, football, I know are two big things that I follow. I can't speak on the other sports. So if you are an individual that can speak on the other sports, please leave it in the comments below so other individuals can find that information. But as you can expect, those two sports are really big here. They have a lot, especially when things get crazy when it's Final Four time and UNC makes it really far. You'll go on this one street called Franklin Street, in which has a ton of different stores, shops, bars, restaurants. You'll have all of that in just one long strip in which you can go there. And typically that's where everyone just goes and flood the streets if you haven't seen already. But not only that, you can spend a lot of your days and times at the art museum that they have, Science Center, the North Carolina Botanical Gardens. So there is a ton of things that you can do, maybe not nearly as much as Raleigh, but you still have something relatively close to you that you can do. And if you're not really that too crazy on being close to Raleigh, then this could give you another avenue in terms of, just being able to explore that and that side of the North Carolina, the Triangle, the RTP area, whatever name you want to give it. In addition, if you're the type of person that you like the older feel, the older fashion, this place will come to you as a lot more of a historical place in comparison to what I've already mentioned, your Cary and your Morrisville, simply because the infrastructure has already been there, given that UNC has been there way longer than many of us, at least myself, that I've even known about North Carolina, Raleigh specifically. So yes, it's going to be more of an older feel. So if you're not looking for anything modern technology, all that good old stuff, then Chapel Hill could be a good opportunity, a good fit for you to go ahead and live in one of those suburbs that could be a good point or a good place for you. Last but not least, Apex, the peak of good living. Now, I didn't give it that name. That's actually what a lot of people just reference Apex as. You can actually probably Google it and you can see it will say literally peak of good living. Now, of course, Apex being the highest of the point of the mountain, that's probably where that name came from. Who is to say? I don't know. I'm just relaying the message here. Hopefully you don't knock the messenger out. But anywho, you'll find that Apex is one of those thriving cities, the cities that are up and coming, that has some things to do. It may not be exactly what you're looking for. There's a smaller of a downtown area. So your community is going to be pretty large here. You'll have your parks, you'll have your culture centers, your community centers in which you can kind of go out and go and enjoy. Now, in terms of community centers, what those really consist of, you'll have your sports, your activities and things like that to do for the kids. I know when I was living in Apex, which I don't knock it, I had to get out of there for the commute reasons. That's the only reason why I would say that's the only reason why I left Apex. It's because that commute in the morning when I'm working downtown, it got pretty hectic. I got very annoyed by it. However, you may not. At least my experience, it wasn't the best. I didn't really enjoy it, so I had to make some changes there. Now, if it's something that you can deal with, something you can tolerate it, then you have nothing to worry about. Your commute, let's just say, typically it was about 25 minutes from Raleigh. However, with that traffic, you can easily add on an additional 10 minutes. And, that didn't sit with me well. Maybe call me impatient. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. Apex is still a great place. You don't really have, again, that downtown area. It's much smaller. And, you may not actually see too much going on there. It's an older feel to it. It's like, I don't know exactly what Apex was beforehand, but I was told at least it was like an old railroad town, and which I guess now has been transformed into a place where people are working, living, and kind of playing in. Because you'll still see trains go in and out of it, especially the Cary as well, given that Cary does have the Amtrak that does go in and out of there. So that is something that you can consider. And if we look at the map here, you can see that Apex and Cary are like literally neighbors. So be prepared to get to know Apex just as much as you're going to know Cary, or even vice versa, get to know Cary just as much as you're going to know Apex, because you will find yourself from time to time going in and out of the city in itself, simply because how close they are. You may have something in Cary that's not in Apex, or vice versa. So yes, given that those two, even if you choose one over the other for whatever reason, there's a high chance that you're still going to have that exposure to both of them simply because of how close they are to each other. Also, another reason why I hear a lot of individuals move to that Apex area is because they love the school system in that area. I have a few clients that actually recommended and actually only wanted to be in Apex for the schooling system. So maybe that is something you could take a look at. We'll go ahead and take a look at one of my favorite resources that you have a resource to as well, which is niche.com, and see where they rank the schools. Now, I've done this before, so if you're looking at this, you're probably like, I've seen this already. Good for you. You're doing your research. You're doing your due diligence to make sure this is a place where you want to be. So really, that's Apex in itself. It's a smaller city. It's not something major where, you have a lot going on there. You're relatively close to Interstate 540, which is a toll road. So please keep that in mind. But to wrap things up, that's the top 4 suburbs here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. Now, I'm pretty sure you weren't guessing all of them. Now, if you did, that means you know exactly what you're talking about here, and that's amazing. Keep it up. Keep doing what you guys are doing. If you guys do have any questions, please give me a call, text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Just as much as I enjoy making these videos, I am a licensed realtor, and I will love nothing more but to be able to assist you with any of your needs relocating here to the area. Peace out.